and we're going to see more of this?
I don't think so. I think, the one thing I've coached most of my life in the West. The one thing I've learned coaching in the West is that you got to get points when you're tired. And you can't, the one thing we knew when we didn't get the lead in the first period, we were going to be in a little bit of trouble because our energy was lacking at times, and we had to still get points. And so we ground it down. I just think you got to get points in the West when you're 80%, and that means you got to grind, and that's what we did tonight.
So what were you thinking when Jamie Benn had the puck on his stick with 3 seconds left and Sagan was over on the one side? What were you thinking?
I've seen this movie before, and it doesn't end well. It ended well for me in Dallas at times, but it didn't look like it was going to end well, and that was tough because we had 4 really good shifts leading up to that, and then 3 good players made a hell of a play, and that's why you got a good goalie, and Costi made a great save and took us to overtime. I mean, top players stepped up as the game went on. Their top players stepped up, and so did ours.
I was just looking at the score sheet, and Lucic has just under 12 minutes. But it feels surprising. Like it almost felt like he had more. Is that maybe a sign of the way they're playing? They seem to be making an impact out there. And
yeah, I told that line, until we get other people up and running offensively, we have to use them as a third line, Ryan. And so that's what they are. They're basically a third line. And, if they're even or better every game, we're going to win games. And so when you're playing 12 minutes, I think one of the reasons his minutes were down a little bit from what he was before is he never really got on the power play. I think, in normal situations, we'd like him to play 14 to 15 minutes, but a lot of that gets made up on power play time, and the power plays, we were able to, because there was timeouts or there was whatever, there were stoppages, we were able to keep that one group out there pretty long.
Ken, you've been with the team for a week now. You've seen Mikko Koskinen play in 3 games. What can you say about the comfortability factor that he sets in place for the rest of the squad?
Well, I think the goaltending is our strength, both guys. I think that's the strength of the team. I mean, we obviously have a couple of world-class players, but to me, the goaltending is the strength of the team. If one guy's going and the other guy's backing up, we're more than comfortable with both. But I think that's the strength of the team is both guys. I mean, Talbot was incredible in Los Angeles and held us in there at the start. And we're getting good performances every night from both guys since I've been here anyways. And I think that's going to be the strength of the team.
What did they tell you about Connor's goal that was not a goal?
They said they had a view that showed that the puck had still stopped. There was still some paint left. We're not watching the same TV, but what are you going to do? We just looked at it again when we went back into the office, and it looks like there was white showing and looks like it was in. So, but they said they've got a view that's a better angle and that there's paint showing.
What did you think of the work of Chason on the first line? Chason on the first line, what did you think of him tonight?
He had a great start, and then he got tired. He had a great start, and it's a big step. And not only is it a big step, we're asking a lot of Chaser. We're asking him to play on the power play and play net front on the power play, which is just a beating. And then he's also doing a little bit of penalty killing, and then he's playing on a top line. And it's going to be an adjustment for him to get up to that level because he hasn't played anywhere like this any time in his career. So I thought the first period he was great, and then his energy dropped as the game went on.
your thoughts on Puljujarvi tonight?
To me, he is what he is. I think there's a lot of things you like off the rush. But there's things that young players, we're going to have to teach him patience when the puck is stopped. And that's why when I said to people, I want that responsibility, you don't do that you don't get to teach that in the American Hockey League because it's a different game for rangy players like him. But anytime he was good, he was on the move. Anytime he got in trouble was when the puck was stopped and he wanted to get on the move again. So we have to take We have to teach him patience and stopping and winning that fight and staying in the moment is important and not trying to get on the move right away. So when we can get that out of him, those are things we can practice every day post-practice. He's going to go to another level, but to me, he's fine right now. I like the ranginess, and I like the way he gets wide speed on people. He's dangerous.
Hitch, in 1 week, can you assess what your team's been able to do that you've asked them to do and prioritize?
Well, the 1 week feels like 5 years. 4 games, I said 4 games, it feels like I've coached my 100. And because every game's being tied going in the third, I would say the thing I'm proudest of is to win, you got to get on the grind in this conference. And we got on the grind right away. And some days you have energy, some days you're at home. We're going to have better energy against Los Angeles because the guys get a day off tomorrow. We're going to come. This was a tough game because of the travel. But I like the fact that we're on the grind right now and we're going to get points. If we keep having that attitude, we're going to get points in a lot of night.
Ken, you mentioned maybe your guys were tired a little bit. Your third pair, blue line, played basically 10 minutes each tonight. Are you going to need more minutes from them, and how do you go about getting more from your third pair moving forward?
I think they got to play better. I think there's some things that we like, but I think they got to play better. They've got to play more with the puck in front of them, and we can work with them on that. But from the third pair, that's not enough minutes, and we're going to have to get more minutes. And whether it's that pair or another pair, we've got lots of options. But the third pair has to play better. They got to give us better minutes with the puck in front of them, so that we're not asking too much of that first two pair.
Spooner, what did you think? Not very noticeable, I didn't see, but a couple of chances, but not very noticeable.
Yeah, I think we got to put him in a top 9 role and let him go. I think we got to figure out where we can put him in a top 9 role, and we'll do that hopefully in the next game and figure out what we're going to do there, Jimmy, because he's a skilled guy and he's not going to be able to do what he does where he's at. He's going to have to play with he's a give and go player, and we got to find somebody to play with him. So I think over the next 24 hours, we've got to look at where we're going to play him, but I think he's got to play in a top 9 role. And it's nice that he can play all 3 positions, so there's some flexibility, but we've got to find a better spot for him. That's on me.